That's a gas main. Gas. Oh, man.
What is that, a gas meter?
Yeah, gas meter.
Wow.
Yeah, they used a lot of steel in this house, didn't they? Elaine Culotti. Am I saying that right?
You are.
Elaine, we call you a developer. What do we call you? An entrepreneur? A citizen who cares?
A citizen who cares. I'm not just a developer and an entitlements person, but I've filmed Undercover Billionaire in Fresno, which was a platform for starting small business and the American dream in the U.S. And so this is pretty devastating to that whole ideology that I believe in so much.
Well, as it pertains to the fires, which is why we're here, we spoke initially to the Army Corps of Engineers guy, and he gave us the official version of what's going on around here. But you're more boots on the ground, concerned citizen, and you have inside information into what's going on politically around here as well. So you've lived in the Palisades for how long?
Oh, my whole life living in California. I've been in and out of the Palisades.
And you've developed and owned multiple businesses and structures in the Palisades?
Many, 80% of my portfolio's in the Palisades.
All right, so you are qualified to speak about this.
More than qualified.
Right, and you are in people's business in terms of you talk to the politicians, you get a peek behind the curtain as to what's actually going on.
I kind of got red-pilled and realized that I live in a state that doesn't have any management, and when something like this happens, it's 100% about management.
Right.
And it freaks me out that Army Corps is leaving because I know that we're 70% away from being done with the cleanup, and that's being generous. And the idea that we're going to be able to do this without the management of a group like Army Corps is daunting. We won't be able to do it. The street we're going on right now, by the way, this is the back of Will Rogers Park, which is also gone. And they used Will Rogers Park as a laydown area.
Yes,
this is what's called the back gate. This is one of the only equine keeping properties in the Palisades where you can actually ride your horses up to the park.
Yeah, so Will Rogers Park is at the top of the hill. It's flat and it's beautiful, and I used to ride my motorcycle up there.
Remember that?
A million years
Remember
ago.
that beautiful polo fields?
Yes.
This is Phyllis and Carl's place. Carl's 90 and Phyllis is 88. Their home survived the fire, but then a flood came and put 4 feet of mud in their house, and now it's like they're digging out mud.
Right, so the fires first, then the floods.
Then the floods, yeah, isn't it? And they survived it.
Well, look at this. All right, so there's so much to digest and there's so much to see. Karen Bass, who's the mayor, is a process person. I'm trying to now separate people into people who do stuff like commercial builders and then process people like sit around and talk about stuff and have endless meetings about stuff, but don't physically get anything done and actually aren't equipped to get anything done because they've never gotten anything done. They don't know what it's like. Rick Caruso could get something done because he's in the business of getting something done. Karen Bass is in the business of having conversations about getting stuff done that never gets done.
I would say you summed that up nicely.
Right, and Gavin Newsom is another process person who wants to talk about stuff but never gets anything done. And so between Bass, the mayor, and Newsom, the governor, it's going to be tough to get stuff done. And also, they've declared war on Trump, right?
Well, there's also the war on Trump thing. Oh, I want to just say this, though. I will appeal to Gavin in that he owns the pen of emergency ordinances, which is the most powerful pen in our state right now. And he can emergency ordinance debris on rail. He can emergency ordinance financial help. He can emergency ordinance waiving certain restrictions, and Karen Bass waived restrictions on landfill toxins.
Yeah, so tell us about your thoughts about landfill and toxins. And it looks like everything on the street was lost.
Yes, it was. Unfortunately, it's just devastated. This is, and there are so many streets just like this in the Palisades where everything is gone and nothing is cleaned.
Right, so nothing's been touched.
No.
So, contrary to my discussion with the colonel at the Army Corps of Engineers, you don't think half of this stuff's going to be cleaned up by the time the Army Corps packs up and leaves?
Well, the Army Corps can only use their metric on opt-in. They're not going to clean if you didn't opt in, and less than half the people opted in.
Right.
So and then on the opt-ins, you had the opportunity to opt out. We don't know who opted out.
So it's going to be up to privateers to do it, and that's going to be a super long process.
And will they have the advantage of being able to dump in local landfill with the no toxic restrictions? That haul route was given to the Army Corps, ECC, on that MATOC. It was not given to private contractors. Does that go away too? And if that goes away, then there's nowhere to dump.
Right. And so then they'd have to put it on a train and take it somewhere?
Well, that's the best solution, is to reopen this or open this facility that $500 million built in, I think, 2014 or 15 that's never been open. It's a full lay-down rail yard to pick up toxin and toxic waste and any kind of garbage. And they can do like 8,500 tons twice a day, more than any of the other landfills. And it takes it out. It takes it away. It takes it out to the Imperial Valley to a 600 million cubic yard landfill that has nothing in it. We will never be able to fill it.
Right.
Everything's gone, as you can see.
Yeah, well, this house is weird because it's stripped. I mean, it looks like they were working on it before the fire.
They were, and then the flood came and took out their bridge, and as you can see, they have no access.
The flood is it's so sad because the fire, then the flood.
Then back here, what we're coming up on is really interesting because they hired an entire crew to clear up the 25,000 acre park back here because the flood was so damaging to the street. And about halfway through their fixing up the debris back here, they pulled them off and they left. And so they were in the middle of cleaning the state park, and in the middle of that, they left with no explanation. So it's half done.
Right.
So if a rainstorm comes, they haven't finished all the debris fencing and everything.
Right.
And they just left in the middle of it. And they didn't tell anyone.
Here we are in the burnt up canyon. That's your structure that you built years ago.
That's my old horse stables.
It's your old horse stables. And so like you said, this is one of the only areas that you would be permitted to have horses. Do you have horses?
I do. I have horses, but not here. I have them at my ranch in Fallbrook.
Oh, okay. So you didn't have to evacuate horses during the fire? 8
were evacuated from up front.
8.
Abraham had to do it, yeah.
Okay.
And the Will Rogers Park had to evacuate them.
Oh, they had horses up at
sure.
Will Rogers as well? Okay. So Will Rogers is up at the top of this canyon up here. And we just traveled up this canyon and saw the devastation, some mostly by fire, some, I mean, ironically destroyed by the flood afterward.
It was worse almost.
Yeah, I guess so, in a weird way, because you get all the mold and all the stuff that goes along with that. And your place is back that way?
Correct. I bought about 8 or so acres in here around 2010. And I worked really, carefully with the city for a very long time to build a few houses in here. And then I sold one and I rent one. I built 4 structures in this canyon, 6 structures, and they're all standing.
Oh, really?
All made out of new materials.
So you equate that to the material choice?
I mean, I would like to. I really think it was just luck and God, but
listen, I'll go luck, God, and building materials, because I've seen stuff completely untouched with like cedar roofs and shingles on the side, and then I've seen modern stuff that's all glass and stucco and steel roof down to the ground. So there's a correlation, but there's not a direct straight line.
God or to the structure?
To your God and to Terry Lumber in Malibu. You would hope you had a steel roof and a stucco building, but that did not preclude you from being burnt down. But your stuff all survived.
It all survived.
That's great.
But also the sycamore trees here are hundreds of years old, and they're all protected, and they lived, but if you look around, nothing else around them. Beck, this is a 25,000 acre Will Rogers Park. And you couldn't see anything. And when the rain came, everything that was up there that you couldn't see came down to sunset.
Right.
And it took everything in its path. And then they came to clean it which I don't understand to this day. They started the process and left in the middle.
The arborist showed up.
Well, somebody from City of Los Angeles, it was basically the public works crew and probably Bureau of Engineering, trying to figure out how to mitigate the amount of debris that came out of there if there was a second big rain. So
Right.
they started doing repairs, and then they stopped, inexplicably stopped and pulled off.
Yeah. So
it's half done. For the purpose of you seeing what's going on this side of the fires, I know you've been on the other side of the fires, right? You've been all up and down PCH. Devastating.
Yes.
Absolutely devastating.
Yes.
And Castellamar, devastating.
Yes.
Gone. Really
Yes.
gone.
Yes.
And all of the kind of lower part of Sunset and PCH and that whole area, Bienvenida, gone.
yes.
This side, this part, the south part, and the area coming out right out of the Brentwood area, is where all the estates are, the big ones, like Evans Road, Rivas Canyon, Chautauqua, the Riviera, all that stuff. You have to go up and see it.
Well, let's go see.
You have to go see that. So this, all day, every day, on Sunset. They should be on PCH and out onto the freeway all the way.
Right.
They shouldn't be in the neighborhoods.
The trucks.
The roads cannot handle it.
Yeah.
We don't have the infrastructure. We never spend money on our streets.
No, but we get taxed for gas, so we can spend the money on the streets, but we don't do
Yeah,
it.
but property tax, you know what the 3 buckets of property tax are? Schools.
Hold on, sorry. This house up here, I've always loved this house.
I have
passed
always
it
loved that house.
every day. I'm so happy someone hung a huge flag on it,
It's been there since Wednesday.
but I miss that. I miss that house. That was
so
a really
special.
cool, special house.
So special.
All right,
An amazing
sorry.
property. No,
tax.
you're absolutely right. That's the most special house.
I would pass it every day on my way home to Malibu, and I'd just stare at it, and I'd go, that's a cool architectural piece.
It's such a phenomenal little statement.
Yes, I agree.
So, property tax is for schools, fire and police, and road infrastructure, your roads, your roadways, okay? They collect it from everybody. Where is our money to repair our streets?
I don't know. The streets are hell out here. We have to pay more in lawsuits
Maybe
for
right
broken
here.
up cars than it would cost to fix the roads. Oh boy.
So this is Chautauqua, which they just opened, and for the most part is completely gone, sadly.
Yeah, and we're gonna drive past that cool architectural house, right?
That is correct. It's right up here. What's left of it is
What's
right up
left
here on
of
the
it?
right. Adam, it's such a nice house. You're right. I like the
I
architectural.
stared at it every day, and I just went, "That's really cool," and I'd love to take a tour of that house. And so these guys made it, and these guys made it.
But you see, these signs are in front of everything, pretty much. If they've gone
Right.
by and checked that you can, you know, that it's okay.
They built a little McMansion here, and that made it. Built another one here. And is anybody selling their property or their homes at this stage?
There's 100 and some odd lots. Yeah, about 20 have sold.
There's 100 and some odd lots for sale,
That's right.
and about 20 have sold.
That's right.
Now, hold on. This is that architectural wonder I was talking to you about.
Absolutely heartbreaking.
It's heartbreaking. Now, even though it was all monolithic and poured in place and concrete, it's all going to have to come down, right? Because the concrete is compromised. So this thing's going to have to come down to the ground.
That's heartbreaking.
Yeah, they formed it up. I mean, it was really interesting, really interesting. And these were just traditional homes next to it that went up. So a lot, there's about 100, 120 for sale, about 20 have sold. What are they going for? Because you know the lay of the land
So
here.
if they're like, so let's say they have a 5,000 square foot house on them, they're going to get $2.5 million for it.
$2.5
Because you can
million.
get a permit in 30 days.
Right.
But if you've got a 1,000 square foot house on it, you're going to get maybe $1.5 million because you got to wait a couple years to build a 5,000 square foot house.
Okay, so if you had existing 5,000 square feet, look at this mess. If you had 5,000 square feet, you get a permit to rebuild 5,000 square feet, which would work in this environment because people are paying millions of dollars for a home.
That's correct.
But if you had an old home that was 1,200 square feet, you couldn't just get a new permit to put 5,000 up there. You get a quick permit to put 1,200 back, but no one's going to buy 1,200 square feet for $3.7 million here.
That's right.
Then if you said, you know what, we don't want to put the 1,200 square foot house back on, we want to put 4,400 square feet back on, they'd go get in line.
Yes.
And you'd have to wait
2 years, 3 years, whatever.
Right. So if you had a lot with 5,000 square foot on it, that would sell.
That's right.
And you say that would sell for like 2.5.
Probably, yeah.
On how big is the lot?
The lots are like 7,500 square feet, 8,500 square feet, 6,500 square feet, little lots.
So the lots aren't much bigger than the house.
No, the lots are, that's the whole point. You want to get the most you can on that lot for $2.5 million.
Right, and so is the math, like 2.5 is a lot for, less than a quarter acre, right?
Not in the Palisades though.
But not in the Palisades.
Right.
And so you'd get that house, that lot, and you'd build your 5,000 square feet on it, and you'd build for, $800 a square foot or something, or I don't know.
1,800.
That much.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's a really nice custom home.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if you're going to split that house for $5 million.
Yeah, well, I'm saying, walk me through the math. Let's just say you and I bought this lot, $2.5 million. It'll hold a 5,000 square foot home on it, right?
We'd have to bring that house in under $1,000 a foot.
That's what
to
I'm
be able
saying.
to flip it.
That's what I'm saying.
Not possible.
Not possible.
No.
So
Very challenging.
right. So we're not going to find speculators that are buying it, building it on spec, and then selling it, right?
I think it's very difficult unless you have 10 houses going at once.
Right.
And you can take that labor and go in basically like from one step to the next.
Right.
And you can buy all your materials at the same time and have some buying power.
Right.
I mean, there's a million things that would have to come into play for that to work.
Right.
And you'd want to have them in close proximity because you don't want to be driving all over town.
Because when the dust settles with your 5,000 square foot home, you're going to be in at $8 million.
Yeah.
And you're not going to be able to sell that thing for much more than 8.
Correct. You're going to definitely spend $1,000 a foot,
Yes.
no matter what. Just the building materials,
Yeah. Okay.
carrying cost.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not so people aren't buying these lots and flipping them.
Not yet. I know that there are developers out there trying, but nobody knows what to do. And the developers are like, even though they're optimistic, I think it's still very confusing what the market's going to bring.
And are people even going to want to live here in 5 years?
And are they going to want to live here through the construction?
So anyone who buys one of these lots, somebody next to you is going to be, oh, slow down, wait, back up. You got to look at this Mustang. Stop right here,
that's
please.
A shame.
66 fastback Mustang. Not a coupe, not the notchback, but the fastback Mustang. 65 or 66. I hate to see a vintage car get sucked up. Something modern, something new, fine, but there's only so many of these. And that is a 66 Mustang fastback. Okay. Yeah, so you buy one of these lots and you rebuild, and this entire neighborhood is backed up with trucks for the next 5 years, 10 years. Like, do you want to live in the middle of a construction zone, right?
So daunting.
So daunting.
So absolutely daunting.
Right. So this lot's for sale. Now, what do you think they want for that lot?
Oh, that's on the bluff with views. That's probably $4 million.
$4 million.
Probably.
For that
We can
miniature
look it
lot.
up.
Look it up. That lot, you think that lot's $4 million?
Look it up on Zillow.
I don't think it's that much. All right, we'll look it up.
How much is 1112 Chautauqua?
You know the area better than I. I don't think that's $4 million because by the time you build the house, you're kind of underwater, right?
The house that burned that was next to it, that was for sale, was on the market for $18 million.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it's the view.
Yeah.
It's all about.
It's $18 million street if you look at it like that.
Oh, okay.
That's the problem with like the whole scene up here.
Right.
Is, if these lots are going for 2.5, people will. And by the way, this is the premier property, and this is premier property. It's the ocean views on that side.
Right, right. They want 2,595 for the land.
How big is it?
7,500 square feet.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right, you said 4 million.
Yeah,
I said less.
you did.
Now who's the real estate expert?
I think you're really good.
Yeah, I am. Look at this place. Wow. I've never been up here. This view's crazy.
We're gonna go up a little bit further. You can see the whole valley, and you can see everything that's gone. And round the bend up here, and then you can look back and you get a whole.
Wow.
Oh, I know.
Whoa.
Nothing's up here, I'm telling you. People don't understand. It's just everywhere. It's as far as the eye can see in any direction. If you can get as close to that structure of iron that's over there and look back, you can see all the way down to the village. This is one of the few lots that was cleared really quickly and cleared privately.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's too high up for the Army Corps of Engineers.
Yeah, they were here though. I don't know what they do. I guess the EPA stuff and all that, right?
Look at this one made it.
Isn't that? And again, what do they do now? You know.
Elaine, I didn't think I could learn any more about what was going on around here, but you schooled me up.
I didn't mean to school you up, buddy.
Well, I don't mean that as a pejorative.
I just want to share.
I like to learn, but I mean, I really do thank you for sharing your passion and your expertise, because I'm not from here. I'm from North Hollywood, and I don't know anything about this area, and you kind of got us behind the scenes, so I appreciate that.
I'm really, really happy you came. We need a lot of people to talk about it.
Well, we're going to keep the dialogue going. We'll keep reporting, and I'll keep vlogging, and people like you will keep pounding on the powers that be. And thanks, Elaine. I appreciate it.
I really appreciate it. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure.